Welcome back to the Costume Extravaganza. We're here. We have made it to the end of the Halloween season. We are just days away from actual Halloween itself, and we've all been there needing a last-minute Halloween costume. Today, I am giving you some inspiration, a DIY for a last-minute Halloween costume with a twist. Everything in today's video is from the dollar store. I thought, most everyone has a dollar store near them. None of us are wanting to drop a ton of cash last minute on a costume, so I'm showing you all of the supplies you need. It's all very readily available at these stores, and if I do say so myself, this is a pretty unique costume, so no one will know it was a last minute project. I will have everything that I ended up using in a list for you in the description box. I can't really link things since they're from the dollar store, but if you'd like Amazon alternatives, I will leave an Amazon list down there too for you. With that, let's go ahead and start DIYing this card queen, casino queen, Vegas queen costume. Here is everything that I got for this project. Starting out with the fabrics, I got some satin pillowcases, 2 white ones, 2 black ones, a roll of red felt. I got us some white thread. You can also get fishing line if your Dollar Tree has that. I know I've seen it before, I didn't see it this time around. So to secure everything, I got some white thread that we'll use to tie pieces together. I got some of the faux pearls and faux diamantes that they have there, faux rhinestones. For the crown, I got us some red floral wire, a hole punch, some super glue, 2 decks of cards. I may need to run back in case we run out, but I figure that's over 100 cards to work with. So I got a red pack and a blue pack. I got some silver paint, some wooden bamboo skewers, and this little party centerpiece thing that I figured we could disassemble and use for pieces. Don't worry about writing all of this down. I will have a complete list for you of everything that you'll need from the dollar store that I actually end up using in the description box below. So with that, let's start assembling this outfit. The most important piece for this headpiece crown is going to be this foam floral wreath type thing. I didn't get this in my first trip to the dollar store. I actually started by creating more or less like a crown with this red floral wire, but spoiler alert, it did not work. I still wanted to include a little bit of the footage though, because it was a fun idea and maybe you could come up with something that would work for this, but in the end I did end up using the floral foam instead. Nevertheless, I started out this portion of the costume by painting our bamboo skewers with the silver paint, and then I also disassembled this party centerpiece type thing. I was very shocked to find that it was just a little concrete disc holding everything together. I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. But I took that apart, I cut off the little wires and the silver spoke type things, and I set those to the side so that we could use them for our crown later. And then I started digging into our packs of cards, and I wanted to elevate these cards and really make them the focal point of this headpiece. So I cut our painted bamboo skewers into differing lengths, and then I also started cutting up our cards. So I didn't really have much rhyme or reason for this, but I cut out some of like the aces and the little shapes, the clubs and hearts, and I don't really know what these are called, but essentially I cut those into some squares, and then I decided to super glue these to the skewers, which actually worked a lot better than I was expecting. This worked like magic and it was really quick, and dare I say even easier than hot glue would have been. So highly recommend super glue for this portion if you decide to recreate this costume. And these turned out really nice. I liked them as is, but you know me, I wanted to zhuzh them up just that little extra. So I also went ahead and added some of the pearls and little diamantes to the bases here, and I do think that took it to the next level. So from here, we painted our floral wreath silver. I opted for silver just because, I don't know, I like that. You could definitely go with gold or black or whatever. But once that was dry, after a couple coats, I quite literally just started sticking our skewers into the foam. This worked really well. I did stick them in at an angle since I knew that the crown would angle backwards a little bit. So I got everything placed, and then I also stuck in our silver star accoutrements, if you will. And let's move on to the skirt. I knew I wanted to do some sort of almost like belt type overlay, but I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted the design to look like. I did know I wanted varying lengths of connected cards. So I just started mapping some things out and playing around, and I decided I wanted sort of like a cascading zigzag effect like you see here. So I went ahead and punched some holes like this within the cards and strung these together with that white thread that we got. Here's a closer look at me doing that. Disclaimer, this is a very time-consuming process. The whole thing probably took me like an hour or two, I would guess. But I did that for everything. And then I also did some shorter cards in the different colors. Also, in my second run to the dollar store, picked up some black ribbon because I wanted to use this to string everything together, like at the waist, as you can see here. So I just alternated with the differing lengths that I created. I also went in and made like a little sash type thing with some of the leftover cards. And let's finalize these pieces. It's time to dig into these satin pillowcases. Who else is surprised that the dollar store had satin pillowcases? I mean, yeah, they're not the greatest quality, but still, they are satin pillowcases. I don't know, that just really threw me for a loop, but it was great for this costume. So again, I didn't really have much of a plan for this section of the outfit, but I knew I wanted to include some of these contrasting black and white satins. So honestly, as I did with my Renaissance Angel video, I just started randomly draping the fabric and cutting it and sort of piecing it together. It would have been great if this black pillowcase would have fit around my hips, but it did not. However, if you are smaller than a size 8, that might work for you. It did not work for me, which is fine. We just had to get a little bit creative, and I ended up cutting and draping the black and layering it with a cut and draped white satin fabric. Lots of draping, lots of cutting and tying, and there we go. Okay, so we have everything ready to go behind us. I'll get to that in a second, but for this outfit, you are going to want a base of some sort. It doesn't have to be a little all black outfit like this. It can be, but just pick anything from your closet that's pretty plain and that we can put stuff over. And now let's take a look at all of the pieces that we DIY'd and let's put it together. Here is the final result. What do you guys think? Okay, look, is this the best DIY I've ever done? No, probably not. That's what the rest of the costumes in this series were for. This is truly just a last minute, quick little costume idea that's unique. It's not your typical like dog or cat or ghost or whatever that people pull together last second. Not that there's anything wrong with those costumes either. This is just a unique twist on a last minute DIY. It's easy, it's very affordable. Again, everything in today's video is from the dollar store, so I think in total this probably cost me $10, $15 max. And I think it's a cute little concept. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some inspiration if you are looking for a last minute costume this year. I can't believe this is the final look in our entire Costume Extravaganza series. Where did the season go? If you've been around for any of my other costume videos, thank you so much for tuning in this year, and I really hope that some of my looks inspired something for you. So with that, I'm gonna sign off on this portion and let's take a closer look at the final result. There we have it. So with this last minute costume brings to a close our Costume Extravaganza series. I don't think I've ever worked so hard on videos in my life, but this has been a ton of fun. I love dressing up. Halloween is by far my favorite season, and I have been working on this series for genuinely about 6 months now, so I really hope you enjoyed. If this is the first video you're watching in this series, I actually created 9 different costumes this year, and so they are all live on my channel now if you'd like to go check them out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate the support, so truly, thank you so much. Again, the list for this costume will be in the description box below. I'll also pin it in a comment, and then I will leave Amazon links as well if you do have a little bit more time on your hands and would still like to create this using Amazon items. I think that would be a really good idea. So with all of that said, thank you so much for tuning in, whether this was your first video or you've watched all 9 in the Costume Extravaganza series. I love you guys so much. Thank you, and I will see you in another video very soon. Happy Halloween!